Hello there, Pierre. Today I will be discussing points about Vanish and what they could have done and what they can use in their next game. Alright, so first of all, the sanity effects are good and overwhelming. The tension already starts from the beginning when you look at left and right from the tunnels and you see complete darkness surrounding the tunnels and you're the only one, like a wall of light around you, and everything is really dark. So that's a good start. The sound effects are good, the setups are good. Like for instance, you're passing a pipe, you're standing in front of the pipe doesn't fall, but you pass the pipe and the pipe falls. So that's good setup. And the sounds with the pipe that falls helps a lot, and you would hope that it does not catch the monster's attention. I mean, that's what I am assuming. Also put in an option menu for toggling and holding crouch button, or even put in a walk button, so you have more options to either hold it with your finger, or that's toggle, or to press once and then it does it automatically. Most people, when they feel unsafe, they usually just crouch, because people are used to making themselves small, less noticeable, and in a lot of games it also makes no sound when you crouch, so that makes sense. But you can also walk. Also, don't forget to set up the controls, like for instance with the pipes. You pass the pipes, then the pipe falls. Like you build up the tension and you make unnecessary noises, and then you can put in, alright, so leaning left and right could help you avoid enemies or something like that, and then the player gets a little bit more pressure from you guys because of the control options. Let's see, what else is there? Because you don't want to tire the player. You want to overwhelm them. You want to scare them so much that they just have to quit. Okay, story. What if you pick up a page and it says whatever, Hank and Phil, and it says normal stuff on it first, but when the sanity effects, a pipe falls and the player and the character gets scared, and you read the pages suddenly change. And if they tell cryptic stuff, and sometimes they tell you a story, it will leave you in the dark, but it will also make you wonder, like, what's going on here, so that will add up to the mystery. Is it Phil or any of these characters that think like this? Is it you that think like this, or is it the person that threw you in here that thinks like this? You can make a story around the pages. It's not the main story, but you can either get sympathy for this player or whatever. It should play with your emotions, story-wise. You can also introduce a multiplayer option. Alright, so we're going to come back to the story for a second. You can also put in a multiplayer option. So when the first player dies or does something reckless, or they can even like split up a monster in case he's standing in the way somewhere, and make you go first. Or the player can even sacrifice him or herself so you could escape. So that's like a little multiplayer option. And if the player dies unnecessarily, the second player or the first player has to go through the level without you. Let's see, what else is there? Other than that, this game was fair and good, because I know and paid attention that you are safe when you reach a dead end. So you could easily pass out there. That's what I figured. You just find a good corner or a good dead end. In a dead end, the monster won't like walk all the way, it will just stop in front of you. And that's pretty fair. Even if you are overwhelmed, you can just pass out there. So that's the safest way. Or in a tunnel. And I also learned quickly that while you play, you people gave good hints, like the part with the bottles on the ground. I could clearly see that there was like white chalk on the bottles, or at least I hope. No, but the white chalks on the bottle gave me a hint that it's probably the humans that use the white chalk, and the yellow arrow is probably Phil or the other guy, Hank, or maybe even the bad guy that blindfolded you and put you in here. That's how I knew about the tags on the wall. Which ones to trust and which ones did not do that. And maybe Phil and Hank even got crazy and tried to manipulate each other. So that a story can come from that too. You know, they wanted to trick each other with arrows and pointing and little writings on the wall. But yeah, I know that there's somebody else watching or playing the game with you. Because there's a monster and the guy that blindfolded you. Why would he even put you in there? So that's already mysterious. Because you clearly made the players see that there's a blindfold coming over you. And the letter also made me speculate because it says Phil at the end. Like Phil wrote it and then Hank signed it. So that's a bit strange. You can also put in notes of the bad guy. Or you could also put in maybe in another section when you get out of the maze. When you get out of the maze, you go into another bigger maze outside. Or maybe you're in another big tunnel. Who knows where this is gonna go? So you have something on that too. I'm just hoping you get all of this because this could be one of the greatest games like Amnesia, Silent Hill, you know, like next to the great ones. If you properly expand this game, because the beginning is like a demo. It's perfect. It feels like you're finishing a game, but it's too short. I want you to go from the tunnels and then to bigger maze, and then even feel like you have some freedom. And don't forget, when you overwhelm the player, make them at the end like they've gone through all that tension building up, and then at the end you satisfy them with relaxing music. Like when you finish the game, that felt like a relief. You can also mention experiments in the game. Why the hell is there a monster there, and humans, and how does this monster even came to be? You have a lot of story here. So let's recap. You have the monster, the man that threw you in here, Phil and Hank. You have yourself. Maybe even when you go through another section, there were other people in that maze too. And the story becomes more and more sick and cryptic. One had to kill the other, one had to do this, one had to eat, blah blah blah. Make a story. Make it sicker and sicker. Maybe introduce new monsters. And here's a part in the story that like is going to blow the player's mind. What if you put the monster sitting down, crouched, like I saw in the beginning, in the crossway? And what if you make the player like strategize, think for a second, how do I lure the monster away? Because you clearly don't know where you're going, but what if you get a sense of where you need to go and you go there and there's a monster there, and then you need to distract the monster or go around it. But when you go around it, the monster like twitches and moves. If you go behind the monster suddenly turns around when you're exactly on point, and he just looks at you, and the character makes a noise. But you have to be smart about it, because some players may go in front of the monster, make the monster stand up or something, or slam his hand on the ground, depending which way you are going. If you get close to the monster, he gets you. But if you pass the monster, he stands up and walks the opposite way, making you feel safe. But remember, the player's always looking at the monster and being like, oh, thank God. And you turn around and then there's a monster in front of you, right directly in front of you when you turn. Like, set these things up. But it's not that, it's just in his mind, and then you go back to your sanity again. What if you also make like a sound that puts a little bit pressure on the player, like if when you walk in front you see like a shadow like coming side of you, and then when you turn around it just follows you, and when you completely look at the back, you turn around, you completely look at your back, you see it's just a nothing. You know, little things like you had the floating things on the screen. That freaked me out as well. You had like little glowing dusts flowing around. You want to confuse them. You want to set things up a lot. You want to make them see with images when there's absolutely nothing there. Make them speculate. Make it mysterious for them. Put insects on the screen crawling, new sanity effects, new sections, new sanity effects, strategizing, walking around blindly, giving the player a sense where to go. All of these things can work in your favor. All of these new stories. Looks like I'm done here. Everything looks smooth and perfect, even on the lowest setting. My computer can't handle much. But I'm grateful that I could play this game, so I'm done here. Thank you very much for watching, and until we meet again, Fee out.